For more on this, let's cross now to our European Affairs correspondent, Dave Keating. So, Dave, how has the German government been reacting to Trump's announcement?
Well, we've had a response from the German Defense Minister, Boris Pistorius. On one hand, he said it's an unwelcome development. He said it's in our interest and in the interest of the U.S. to have the American troops in Germany. But on the other hand, he said that this decision was foreseeable, and that's because of a couple different reasons. Let's not forget that during Trump's first term in 2020, he wanted to pull out 12,000 troops from Germany, but was blocked by the U.S. Congress, and that action was later undone by Joe Biden when he came into office. But of course, also, Pistorius was referring to the ongoing spat, which you alluded to, between Trump and Merz over the Iran war. Merz made some comments to some students in the past week where he said that the U.S. had been humiliated by Iran in the war and that the U.S. doesn't seem to have, or to quote him, obviously has no strategy for how to end the war. Since then, Donald Trump has been publicly hitting out against Chancellor Merz, and this seems to be another effort at retaliation. And certainly the Pentagon officials have been briefing U.S. media that this is exactly that. They're not even trying to say this is for some kind of strategic reason. Officially, that's what the spokesperson said, but officials have been briefing all U.S. media that this is indeed a retaliation for Chancellor Merz's comments.
Now, Dave, Germany is home to the United States' biggest base in Europe. So 5,000 soldiers, is that actually a significant number?
It's not, and so we should really put this into context. So in total, the U.S. has 38,000 active duty soldiers in Germany at the moment. But if you add in all the other U.S. personnel and their families and everything around all the bases in Germany, you get to a number closer to 150,000. There are 50 military sites, U.S. military sites spread out across Germany. 15 of those are large named bases. So you've got Ramstein, the biggest, which has 60,000 Americans in and around it. Not just the active duty personnel, but all of those U.S. personnel. You've got bases in Bavaria, Baden-Württemberg, Rhineland, Hesse, all over the country. So the U.S. military imprint in Germany is huge, and it's been declining for some time. So actually, you could look at this 5,000 troop withdrawal as being kind of in line with the decline. Right after World War II, there were 400,000 troops in Germany. Then during the Cold War, there were 250,000. After the Cold War in the 90s, there were 100,000, and that number's been going down and down. And previous administrations, the Biden administration, the Obama, well, not the Biden administration, but the Obama administration was also looking to reduce the troop presence. So this is all in line with that. What this seems to be about is threatening Europe with further troop withdrawals, which saying, if you don't join the Iran war, it's not just going to be 5,000, it's going to be tens of thousands, and maybe we close the bases. The thing is, though, it's not really a credible threat because the U.S. needs these bases to project its power globally, and in particular, the U.S. could not have launched the war in Iran without the use of its U.S. bases in Europe. Maybe it could have organized it a different way, but it would be extremely difficult without these bases. So the U.S. needs these bases. Europeans know that. So I'm not hearing absolute panic about this number because it is a relatively small number. I think the bigger question this is prompting, and we saw that from Pistorius' statements, is should this actually be welcomed? Should Europe actually be moving toward a more independent sovereign defense? That's where I think the discussion is going to go this week.
Dave, thank you so much for keeping us updated. That's France 24's Dave Keating, European Affairs correspondent.